Hello, Orchard Archivers. Thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of Retro Trek with the Caramel Apples podcast. I'm Kennedy Rizzo,
And I'm Cooper Lee.
and this week we have quite an exciting episode for you, dear listeners. We're going to have fun engaging in a caramelicious discussion about the life and shining career of Hollywood legend and icon, Michelle Pfeiffer. Bring your 80s A game and let's go. Hello, you wonderful Orchard Archivers. Thank you for taking the time to journey back with us this week. And don't forget to take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review, and leave us a 5-star written review because we know it is your review that could clue somebody else in to check things out here in the Orchard. So we don't take that for granted. And check us out on social media as well. Yes, X, the Gram, TikTok, and YouTube.
That's right. And don't forget to check out our website, www.retrotrekcaramelapples.com.
Yes, we are so ready to keep you Orchard Archivers busy, apparently.
That's right. It's everything caramel apples.
That's right. But we so appreciate your support. Okay, so this week we have an exciting bit of nostalgia to caramel roll out with.
Yes. We're going to talk about one of our favorite movie stars, that of Hollywood actress icon Michelle Pfeiffer.
Mm-hmm.
And I am ever excited that we've chosen to tackle some of the fascinating highlights surrounding this ever-talented actress.
Oh, me too, Cooper. Like, she was definitely a most recognizable fixture on the 80s cinematic scene and truly made her mark on Hollywood, which was no easy feat.
No.
We say that for almost everybody out there.
Exactly.
I feel on how she carried out her acting chops were so memorable in ways that sort of really caused her to stand out in a good way among her contemporaries and competition at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, as predicted, she was noticed.
You know, I so agree. Like lightning fast. One of the key reasons for this was in that Michelle Pfeiffer was not only amazingly beautiful and talented, but she really could hold her own when it came to turning on the charms when it came to acting.
Yeah.
But her beauty was one of those things that like you stated, got her noticed and on the radar, which soon launched her into stardom. And we aren't a bit surprised, are we?
No, not at all.
So, without further ado, let's dive in, shall we, Kennard?
I thought you'd never ask this. So Michelle Pfeiffer was born April 29th, 1958 to Donna Jean Taverna, who was a housewife, a domestic engineer. Yeah, we gotta keep the PC crowd happy.
That's right.
And then we have her father, Richard Pfeiffer, an air conditioner contractor.
Okay.
She was the second of 4 siblings consisting of an older brother, Rick, and 2 younger sisters, Dee Dee and Lori.
Uh-oh, poor big bubby Rick was outnumbered by his 3, and no doubt, rotten younger sisters.
Yes, much to his dismay. Yeah, totally, though. After all, it's in their job description.
Oh, yes. We bring the fun.
That's right. Yes, we've had that kind of fun, too. Both of Michelle Pfeiffer's parents, though, originally hailed from North Dakota.
How interesting.
Yeah, you don't hear about that much.
You really don't.
Yeah.
You really don't. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's of no secret that Michelle Pfeiffer is an absolute shining beauty. So the question is, what exactly did her parents pour into her specific DNA pool? Are you ready, Kennard?
Yes, I am.
It's quite the amalgamation. I promise you.
Okay, yeah, spill it, Coop. We're all ears.
Okay. So let's peer into the angle of her ancestry. Fun fact, it is said that she has German, English, Welsh, French, Irish, and Dutch on her paternal grandfather's side, whereas she was of Swiss, German, Italian from her maternal grandfather's side, with a touch of Swedish ancestry from her maternal grandmother. So this was quite interesting to learn, not to mention how much it makes sense, the array of culture she has within her background. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's amazingly cool. And let's just be honest. I mean, if you go back far enough, my goodness, I think you are going to have like a whole handful of
Yeah.
cultures in your lineup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, no one should be surprised by anything like that these days, right?
I know. But she had a nice mix up in her lineup, so that was pretty cool. So, while you were sharing this, though, I felt like we were talking to and working with one of those trace your family lineage sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, checking out your family ancestry. But even with her personal bloodlines, it goes to show how so many of us, if not all of us, have a nice mixture of fascinating DNA within.
Yeah, like I think some of those will even list other or something, like when it's in there, but it's so small of the amount that they just put other.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, the human race is a beautiful thing with such an array of amazing examples of determination, talent, beauty, and so on. And talking about Michelle Pfeiffer this week will be very intriguing on so many levels due to what she accomplished over her shining career over the years.
Hashtag facts. Now, Michelle Pfeiffer graduated from Fountain Valley High School of Fountain Valley, California in 1976. So moved away from North Dakota. So it's no longer on the map again. Okay. And after graduation, she started attending university at Golden West College and supported herself during that time as she worked as a cashier at a popular supermarket.
Hmm.
She also was an active member of the Alpha Theta Pi sorority, one of the rites of passage as one navigates through their college years. Another Main Street career potential endeavor Michelle took on was a brief stint in training to be a court stenographer.
Oh, that's neat.
Uh huh.
That's actually
Yeah.
pretty wild.
It really is. That is a skill.
Yeah.
So, indeed. But it was during this time that she decided to try her hand at dun, da, 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 acting.
There it is. Now, this is quite the endeavor jump for an average person, but truly, though, Michelle Pfeiffer is not your average person.
No.
You're probably thinking or wondering how she swung this pivotal venture in her favor. Well, it's not a stretch to assume that her gorgeous good looks would be exponentially helpful here.
Michelle Pfeiffer is a pretty spot on definition of what a beautiful person would be described as.
Yes, Coop, she really is.
Yes.
So different from what your average run of the mill celeb would consist of nowadays. But I digress.
Mm,
Due to her natural beauty, she had tried her hand at beauty pageants and such.
she sure did. So, fun fact, you'd be interested to know, but not surprised to learn, that Michelle Pfeiffer won the Miss Orange County Beauty Pageant in 1978,
Oh.
as well as participated in the Miss California contest that same year, coming in sixth place. Not bad, huh?
She gave it a go.
Yeah. So, following her active stints in said pageants, she then was discovered by and came up under an acting agent, to where she launched into auditioning for both television and movie roles.
Okay. And we know where this determination eventually ends up, or we wouldn't be talking about our shining star and her fascinating career this week.
Exactly.
Michelle Pfeiffer, ever the prolific performer, boasts a career in acting that spans over 4 decades.
So amazing.
That's quite impressive, yes.
It is.
She has become one of Hollywood's most bankable stars during the 80s and 90s. And she's also managed to become one of our modern era's most outstanding examples of beauty.
Yes. Michelle Pfeiffer was indeed considered some serious eye candy by the menfolk. She was a very pretty package.
What's a girl to do?
And I do believe that consensus is the same, if not intensified now in current times. So Michelle Pfeiffer seems not to even age. She's at an age now, looks way better than some of the 20 and 30 somethings going on out there in Hollywood. More on that here in a bit.
I can't wait to get into that because that is pretty fascinating and that she has kind of defied age in a strange type of way. So interesting.
Yeah.
So her hard work and the otherworldly good looks that she has finally paid off and propelled her into the throes of stardom.
It most certainly did. So where did she get started? Let's find out.
Okay.
Fun fact. Michelle Pfeiffer made her acting debut in 1978 on TV on the ever-popular retro television show Fantasy Island.
Oh, get out of here. No
Yeah,
way.
c'est plain. See Michelle, see Michelle. Yes way.
Yes way.
It was only one episode, but no matter. She had other roles on TV that followed. Have you heard of Chips?
Okay.
Enos, the spin-off program from Dukes of Hazzard, another show called BAD Cats.
Never heard of that one. I think we're guest stars in that every day.
Right. And this last entry is key because this is where she got into acting or film. Michelle Pfeiffer appeared in the made-for-TV CBS film entitled The Solitary Man in 1979.
Okay, so that was her first film introduction there on TV. Now, her first Hollywood film movie came out a year later in 1980, comedy entitled The Hollywood Knights, co-starring alongside actor Tony Danza, where they appeared as high school sweethearts. Also that year, she also starred in supporting roles in Falling in Love Again and Charlie Chan and The Curse of the Dragon Queen in 1981. Neither received much critical acclaim or box office success. So back to the drawing board. Michelle Pfeiffer wouldn't turn down work. A girl has to eat, you know. So she starred in some commercials and focused on some acting lessons during that time. She also starred in 3 made-for-TV movies again, also in the year of 1981. One of those was entitled Callie and Son, co-starring Lindsay Wagner.
That's another famous 70s name.
It is.
Yeah.
She's pretty too.
She is. Absolutely. People loved their blonde-haired babes back then, no question.
Oh my God, we should do a whole show on that because that was a movement.
Oh, yeah. That idea has merit. But back to Michelle, our favorite this week.
That's right. Stay focused, right, guys?
So back to our main blonde bombshell of the week, Michelle Pfeiffer. Her acting career really started to get noticed when she starred in Grease 2 in 1982. Fun fact, did you know that director Brian De Palma refused to audition Michelle Pfeiffer for an edgy film he was working on initially based off of her performance in Grease 2, but soon relented at the insistence of the movie's producer, Martin Bergman.
It is said that she was disillusioned with being typecast in nondescript roles as the attractive lady. Therefore, she actively sought out more challenging roles.
Exactly, Kennard. This leads us to witnessing her snagging her iconic breakout role of Elvira Hancock in the infamous, critically acclaimed film Scarface in 1983.
Oh, wow. What can we say?
Yeah,
Well, for one, we can say that we aren't a bit surprised again
true.
of what we've seen her pull off and come through so far in regards to her mounting career is proof positive of sheer will, determination, and drive. Michelle Pfeiffer rose to the challenge, not giving up until folks stood up and took notice. I did notice that she lit up a few cigarettes, if you will, when she was playing Elvira in Scarface. Does that mean she was a smoker by chance?
Yeah, indeed she was. But the question is, just how heavy of a smoker was she? Fun fact, it is said that Michelle Pfeiffer previously explained how she enjoys it when she gets to smoke for parts.
Okay.
hmm We have learned that since then, in 1992 to be exact, she has quit smoking. But get this, fun fact number two, Michelle Pfeiffer, despite having had quit the habit, she had to light up once again in the film French Exit, and she revealed that she still enjoys a brief puff. She's honest.
Yeah.
and, and Michelle said, and I quote, I quit smoking years ago, yet it's always such a joy to pick up again. End quote. Well, at least she was honest, as we said. It's just, yeah, I mean, why deny it? If that's what's going on, that's what's going on.
Yeah, and real quick, just a quick note, like with movies and stuff, when different celebrities and actors go into their roles, um, they what they call it, like method acting now, or like that's more of a focus when they do what they do.
Sure, yeah.
I just wish that the scripts and the things going on were much better to match the acting, the laser focus of that, but whatever. That's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
story. But yeah, like to be able to like you said, she had to quit smoking. She had quit smoking. And then to go back into a role,
Yeah,
she had to pick it back up just because the character smoked. So
yeah.
I find
Yeah.
that fascinating and interesting, but I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of you'd be a little nervous sometimes if you were going to take on roles. I mean, they have to work.
Well, as you mentioned before, with getting so deep into a character, like we know that they will put on weight, drop drastic weight, put on a lot of muscle, get real like they put their body through the rigors, truly. I mean, and
Right.
they're usually able to bounce back, but like that's really being committed. That's more than makeup and prosthetics. Okay.
Right. Like that personally would make me nervous.
hmm
So I think, like as a celebrity though, I don't know if I would be particularly keen on how it shifted for someone to get into character or into role anymore. I mean, they're trying to be acting like they're halfway serious about it, but like with the content they put out there, it's like that's a lot of stuff to go through for it's just not a thing anymore. People don't care about in general about the movies like they once did. So it's like
Exactly.
so these people might be making themselves sick or putting themselves in some very dire straits because they are preparing for a role or roles
Yeah.
and then they can't or might not be able to bounce back from it.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously, the longer you're in the realm of being an actor, you're going to get older in that. So, what you could do in your 20s, you can't necessarily do in your 40s, 50s, and if this is how you've been making your living, you're probably not looking to get out of acting.
Right.
So,
Right.
how much more demanding? So, I do wonder if they start passing on those kind of roles just because they're like,
Yeah,
no
you
amount of
wonder.
trainer could help me.
Well, I think Mark Wahlberg has said things like that, him and The Rock.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
mean, like they have muscle memory and stuff, but I mean they're older now. So I do think that
Right.
they've kind of like, well, we might want to give ourselves a little break here and there because the body is like, I'm mad.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Listen to your body sometimes.
But back to Michelle, I believe that's what she did in Scarface, if I'm not mistaken. So
Mm,
you know how Hollywood is that method acting. I mean, it's getting
yeah.
into true character, and I like the concept, but I think sometimes it feels like it could be dangerous.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's mind blowing, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how often do we see a common Joe or Jane Schmo attempt to take on, a new routine or lifestyle change, and then, like, within a couple of days, although well meaning, they end up falling off the wagon, or even worse, they give up completely. So, yeah, we've all been there. But again, that just drives the fleeting point on how amazing it is that actors and actresses can be so committed to their projects whenever they're called on to do so.
Oh yeah,
So,
completely
yeah,
fascinating.
it's semi fascinating. Let's just what it
But it totally fits with what we're discussing, that of our stellar actress, Michelle Pfeiffer, this week. She's such a wonderful example of how this type of dedication really exists.
hmm
And we left off on the tangent of Michelle exploding on the scene in the film classic Scarface. But two, she achieved further success with roles in a few more cinematic projects or movies that gained attention all throughout the mid 80s.
That's right. Following her appearance in Scarface in 1985, she took on and starred in a John Landis comedy entitled Into the Night, along with Jeff Goldblum.
Mm,
He's nuts.
he is.
Also, that same year, Michelle Pfeiffer starred in a fantasy film, Lady Hawk, directed by Richard Donner, alongside Rutger Hauer and Matthew Broderick. A movie called Sweet Liberty in 1986, alongside Michael Caine. He's nuts too.
He is.
And two, starred in a 1950 sci fi parody in 1987 entitled Amazon Women on the Moon. More on things surrounding this film here in a bit.
I've never heard of that one before.
I know, me either. But reason being is that these listed films only received modest commercial success. Yeah. No matter though, we're talking about Michelle Pfeiffer here.
Exactly, and that's in her resume. So
That's right.
we heard about it now.
That's right.
Show enough, Kennard. But the year 1987 was quite a noteworthy year for Michelle Pfeiffer when she scored Space in a major box office hit in The Witches of Eastwick, playing Suki Ridgemont, alongside a star-studded cast lineup with Susan Sarandon, Cher, and Kennard and I's favorite Joker of all time, Jack Nicholson.
He really was. I don't know. And real quick, because we're going to get into this because this is when she was really starting to get known. When we started our Orchard Trek retro, it went from we heard she went and worked at a grocery store and she was a secretary or whatever, or stenographer, to
Yeah.
now she's in movies we're starting to hear. We remember from the 80s. We can see her career starting to bud and blossom.
Yeah.
So I think that's so cool audibly hear that, the progression of her career taking off. But
Yeah, because you got to start somewhere.
that's true. But we love Jack. But really, all of those names.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
even though we have not seen this particular movie, because we have not actually, we've heard of it because it's in that 80s pop culture realm. So we've definitely heard of it. We've not seen it. Just this cast list alone tells you that if you're into retro goodness from yesteryear, a film like this might be a good choice or good escape for you. But speaking of people choosing this particular film as a refreshing escape, The Witches of Eastwick received mostly positive reviews and grossed over $63.7 million here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Critics at the time praised Michelle Pfeiffer's comedic timing and called her character warm and irresistible.
Oh, that's cool. That is so cool.
It
When
is.
you start getting critics weighing in on you, yeah. That means you're making a name for yourself, maybe good or bad, but they're taking notice.
That's right.
Yeah. So Michelle Pfeiffer really became good at what she set out to do. But get this, fun fact. Due to the fact that she had never received formal training in acting, Michelle Pfeiffer has expressed herself that she sometimes feels like a fraud when it comes to her acting, blaming the fact that she lacked conventional training in her craft. What she does do is credit friends, director Milton Koselzy, Co- Cosellas, with teaching her how to differentiate between how an actor and their character portrayal would behave during the same scene.
Ah, yes, which dispels any rebuttal that untrained or unseasoned actors are less capable than their traditionally trained peers. So Michelle Pfeiffer was very serious about her personal passion toward acting. We know this because some critics sincerely believe that Michelle has actually sold herself short by choosing character roles versus emphasis solely on physical attributes or her obvious beauty. I like that point right there and applaud her
Mm-hmm.
for that interpretation.
Yeah,
Obviously, her unique perspective didn't hurt her getting notable roles over the years, now has it, Coop?
not at all. In fact, it is said that Michelle Pfeiffer prefers dramatic roles over comedic ones, claiming that comedic ones are much more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And in these more dramatic roles, she's particularly drawn toward the imperfect woman. Michelle reinforces this notion by claiming how she rarely accepts glamorous roles because she finds few of them compelling.
Okay.
See, I respect that too. So during the 1980s, Michelle Pfeiffer typically played funny, smart, independent women before broadening her scope of acting into a wider range of said roles upon entering the next decade into the 90s. I'm thinking of a couple of those cool films right now.
Okay, so we're heading in the right direction. It's back to our caramelicious developing deep dive. The Witches of Eastwick in 1987, Married to the Mob, and Tequila Sunrise, both in the years of 1988. Fun fact. Uh-oh, I stole that from you, Coop.
You did! Give that back! No, just kidding.
I can't
I can
help it
share.
today. Let me say this real quick before she breaks my legs. Did you actually know that Michelle Pfeiffer was nominated for her first of 6 consecutive Golden Globe Awards for her portrayal of a gangster's widow, Angela DeMarco, in the film Married to the Mob?
That is crazy cool, Kennedy. I can tell by the look on your face that there's more to share.
You would be correct in that.
Okay.
I really need to work on my poker face for reals.
Okay. So Michelle Pfeiffer starred in another film in 1988 entitled Dangerous Liaisons, and another feature film a year later in 1989, The Fabulous Baker Boys, helped our star actress to garner even more accolades and acclaim.
Oh, wow.
I'm stealing it back. Fun fact.
Hey!
These two aforementioned films earned our star 2 consecutive Oscar nominations for Best Supporting Actress and Best Actress, respectively, and winning a Golden Globe Award for her role in The Fabulous Baker Boys. Well done, Michelle.
Yes, well done. That is simply amazing.
Mhm.
All right, thanks for sharing that, Coop. I really like hearing that. She deserves that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she needs to hear it from us or anything, but she does deserve
Yes. The caramel apples have weighed in. You can move on with your life.
it. Well, since this is a bit outside of our designated decade parameters, we've mentioned quite a few of her notable cinematic works that played out in the earlier years of her career. But you mentioned that you were thinking of a lot of folks describing Michelle Pfeiffer as one of the world's most beautiful actresses.
Hmm.
Even with that honorary nod being attached to her person, did you know and realize that she initially struggled to convince directors and other influential creative execs to take her seriously as an actress, due to these ones doubting she was more than simply.
Come on, guys. Get with the program.
Right? But you'll be glad to know, and on already what we witnessed over the years concerning her shining career highlights, that she slowly combated that by actively pursuing challenging roles in which her physical attractiveness was not a driving or deciding characteristic. Good for her. I think that's very admirable.
You know, I think that is way caramel cool, that she was aware of that, her obviously being very attractive, and what was got her noticed in the beginning and ultimately her foot in the proverbial door of acting. But even more admirable that she was bound and determined not to let that very thing define her or how she chose to navigate her acting career. Yet we chuckle because as hard as she tried, her beauty label followed her all through and still defines how and what people and diehard fans think when thinking about or talking about Michelle Pfeiffer. Curiously ironic, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Michelle Pfeiffer really has received significant media attention for her appearance, and which was so noticeable that, get this, TMC, aka Turner Classic Movies,
Great old time channel, by the way.
oh, 100%. So they described Miss Pfeiffer as an example of exceptional Hollywood beauty. Oh no, see, they're going against what she was wanting to put out there.
Well, you can't deny. That's what people first see before you even say hi. That's the first thing they see.
Yeah, because she is truly beautiful. She really is.
She
So that's
is.
just what it was.
No doubt.
So she simply just could not get away from it. Celebrity photographers regularly cite her as among the most beautiful women they have ever had the good pleasure of photographing, and so on.
Well, when you got it, you got it. So
Mm-hmm.
way to go, Michelle.
100%.
I guess if she wanted to, she probably could have wore a bag over her head and then, spoke her lines and then do the big reveal at the end. But they might have stopped her as security. I don't know. But one more thing I'd quickly like to share as a fun fact about Michelle Pfeiffer's undeniable beauty. Fun fact. Nicknamed the Golden Ratio, would you find it crazy interesting to know that in the year of 2001, a reputable board certified plastic surgeon declared Michelle Pfeiffer the most beautiful face in Hollywood? And two, according to several other plastic surgeons, it is said that Michelle possesses some of the most requested celebrity features among their clientele.
Well,
Ah,
not a bit surprised about that one, Coop.
no.
That is pretty wild, though. Like, could you imagine? Like, people were like wanting different features or aspects of your face,
Kind of bizarre.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That is totally wild.
Mhm.
So, again, Michelle Pfeiffer is truly cut from a different cloth due to having all the beauty, talent she has to offer. She still exudes class and grace, how she comports herself, and is crowned as such. Where a rep from the HuffPost crowned Michelle Pfeiffer in glowing details as Hollywood's key example of a movie star who doesn't walk around feeling like a movie star, which benefits her ability to play authentic characters without allowing her fame to affect her talent. See now, that's quite the tightrope to walk. Michelle Pfeiffer was the full package.
Hashtag facts, Kennard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hence the reason we are fans of hers. Is there any question?
No,
She is awesome.
she really is.
So, what refreshing qualities she possesses? Michelle Pfeiffer says of herself, and I quote, I still think people will find out that I am really not very talented. I'm really not very good. It's all just been a big sham. End quote. No, I don't think so, Michelle. What a most modest take she has in her acting abilities and contribution.
Oh, yeah. I think some so called stars currently can learn a thing or two from Michelle Pfeiffer. Just saying. Some out there now are so incredibly full of themselves, and the so called talent is laughable at best.
Much agreed, sis. So many of these types you speak of currently are what Michelle referred to as big shams. But I digress.
This current breed of so called celebrity is way off the charts obnoxious and is quite off putting. But in contrast, Michelle Pfeiffer is also noted as notoriously disliking press interviews, referring to herself as the worst interviewee that ever was. I don't know. Michelle sounds refreshing and like a lot of fun.
I agree.
I bet she'd be fun to engage in a caramel coffee chat with the caramel apples, so. Yeah, you hear that, Michelle? Let's do this. Our treat. She'd fit in quite well with our girl squad.
She got the sound. She's in.
That's right.
This has so far been an engaging retro trek on Michelle Pfeiffer, but we're not done yet.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we've been speaking extensively on the huge elephant in the room and Catalyst and how her beautiful looks and personality and talent jet propelled her shining acting career. Real quick, I found this fun fact. Chuckle worthy.
Okay.
Fun fact. Did you know that when Michelle Pfeiffer was in her 20s, complete strangers would often approach Michelle thinking she was songstress Debbie Harry from the band Blondie?
Really?
Not surprisingly, Miss Harry said in an interview that if she could choose any actress to portray her in a film, that she would indeed choose Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, wow.
Like, how cool is that?
That is pretty cool. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so
and,
cool.
And I think that they do look alike. That is uncanny.
There is a similarity. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, it is.
They should deep dive into their history and see if there's some connectors back there. But you can guess what else her beauty got notable attention from. Yep, that would be the fellas.
Okay, that's right. And we're just now getting around to that type of mojo she possessed.
Uh-huh.
So earlier we mentioned how Michelle Pfeiffer participated in an acting class taught by Milton Katselis there in LA. But she got a lot more than training involving the acting arts. It was there, too, that she met and dated fellow actor Peter Horton. They married soon after in Santa Monica in 1981. She was busy back in the early 80s.
Yeah, she really was.
It is said that it was on their honeymoon together that she learned she landed the lead role in Grease, too.
Yeah, that is crazy busy, isn't it? Oh my goodness. She's on her honeymoon, fellas. Leave her alone for a minute. And a lot of both her professional and romantic liaisons happened during the pivotal time, that being the time we're speaking of, during our designated time parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband, Peter Horton, directed his wife in a 1985 ABC TV special, One Too Many, where Michelle Pfeiffer played the high school girlfriend of an alcoholic student, played by the talented Val Kilmer.
Okay.
And 2 years later, in 1987, the real-life couple played an on-screen couple in the hospital segment of John Landis' comedy skit, Amazon Women on the Moon.
Okay. Things seem to be going well and on the up and up in many aspects at this point, but apparently things weren't all smiles and roses. For a year later, in 1988, it is said that Michelle Pfeiffer had an affair with her Dangerous Liaisons co-star, John Malkovich.
Oh boy! What's the saying on how usually business and pleasure don't mix?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this caused trouble in paradise, a predictable rift between the real-life couple, where that same year the two decided to separate and ultimately divorcing 2 years later. Shortly after that, Michelle Pfeiffer had sparked up a 3-year relationship with actor-producer Fisher Stevens, whom she met during yet another acting encounter.
Well, apparently that relationship too was short lived because Michelle then married TV writer producer David E. Kelley in 1993 and even made a couple cameo appearances in his works. Fun fact, it was in that same year that she became a first time mother.
Nice.
Yeah, she entered into private adoptive proceedings before she met her husband David, but the whole undertaking was a success. For in March of 1993, her beautiful daughter, Claudia Rose, was warmly welcomed into their family.
Aw.
I know. Already in the family way, a year later in 1994, Michelle gave birth to a son, John Henry Kelley III. And it would seem now that their small family was complete.
Oh, that's nice. That's, she had that maternal instinct that she wanted to tap into.
Yeah.
So now we're in the 90s. We won't go too long on some of the goings on in detail of Michelle Pfeiffer's life, much beyond what we have to, but two or three of her finest cinematic moments took place in the early to mid 90s. We
Yeah.
just have to make mention of before we close out our Orchard Trek Retro this week. So, cementing herself as one of Hollywood's highest paid actresses of the 90s, Michelle Pfeiffer starred in a couple standout films in the early 90s we cannot make mention of, which films there, Coop?
Well, that would be her stellar standout performance where she played Catwoman in Tim Burton's Batman Returns in 1992.
Good movie.
Celebration all around.
Oh, that's a good movie.
It was.
Yes.
And fun fact, during an interview, she said that her Catwoman outfit costume was vacuum sealed once she was fitted into it for scenes. She said that she only had a short time to perform before she would have to have it opened up quickly or she could become lightheaded and pass out.
Oh, no.
Poor Michelle. Oh,
Good
that sounds
grief.
terrible.
I know.
Fun fact number 2. Did you know that she beat out or replaced Annette Bening as Catwoman due to Annette Bening expecting her bundle of joy soon?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, this role just seemed tailor-made for Michelle.
yes, it did.
Just saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We like Annette, but Catwoman, I don't know. She also starred in Wolf alongside Jack Nicholson once again in 1994.
Good
And in
movie.
Dangerous Minds, it was, yeah. And in Dangerous Minds, where she played a compassionate high school teacher and mentor to underprivileged kids in that 1995 film. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Oh, my goodness.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we can't even begin to imagine not speaking extensively about anything Batman. So there's that. But I've got something else to share, Coop.
Go on, Kennard. I ain't mad.
Okay. Speaking of Batman Returns, check this out, Coop and Orchard Archivers. Did you know that Michelle Pfeiffer was considered for the part of Vicky Vale in Batman 89? Yeah, seems like a smart choice. So, what was the issue, one might ask?
Yeah, what was it?
Michelle Pfeiffer was actually dating Michael Keaton in real life at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, and he didn't feel that would be right for what was going on, which that's probably a very, very smart move.
Yeah, interesting.
So we got the talented, equally beautiful Kim Basinger for Vicky Vale for the original Batman.
Yes.
Works for us. Yeah, we ended up getting them both.
Yeah. You know, I have to say. Okay, so I have to say, with Vicky Vale being Kim Basinger and her Michelle Pfeiffer playing Catwoman, they are in the roles they should have been in.
100%.
Like, I don't think she'd be a good Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, like, yeah. I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
That's right.
And history was made.
That's right.
The Colorado Apple's way in again. We can move on. That's very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one more nice accolade we'd like to share about Michelle Pfeiffer is this, that she received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on August 6th of 2007. How nice is that?
Yeah.
But why am I not surprised? Because Michelle Pfeiffer is an iconic film legend in her own right. As being one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood back in her heyday, she is quoted as saying, and I quote, "I act for free, but I demand a huge salary as compensation for all the annoyance of being a public personality." In that sense, I earn every dime I make. End quote.
Indeed, she has.
Yeah.
Well, that's not hard to imagine that that's how she truly feels about it all because she really immersed herself into her craft and made many a role most memorable and caused those characters to come alive in all of her on screen contributions.
So, to sum up our discussion on Michelle Pfeiffer this week, what can we say? Well, that she has demonstrated or embodied a versatile, fascinating array of work as a timeless actress that spans the many facets of cinematic film, and she continues to work hard at her thespian endeavors on into the present.
Truly. So, anytime she's in front of the camera gracing the screen, we'll always enjoy the hard work, determined grit, and undoubtedly raw talent that is the trademark of these many specific star qualities that makes Michelle Pfeiffer shine bright. Meow.
Love what you heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. To tune into future treks into the Orchard Archives, meet up with us here next week. Same time, same place at the sweet spot. And it would mean the world to us if you would leave us a shining review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and explore more iconic memories. Thank you.